Good morning, welcome to Monday. Thanks for joining me for some of our breath work to start the week. Let's start off by creating the space for the breath. So we'll find a space, make sure you've got room around you. Looks as if Julie's on holiday again there in, oh no, maybe it's London, outside, which is nice. If you can get outside and do this, it's brilliant. Maybe I'll do one outside when I get a little bit more, when I clear the space up out there a little bit. So let's take our feet shoulder width apart and then just start knocking, rotating, keeping that spine long. Reason we're doing this, even though we're focusing a little bit more on a Monday morning on breath work, is we're getting the spine working, we're getting the spine energized, and the rib cage is attached into the spine, into the thoracic spine. So we want to make sure we have that mobility, flexibility, yet strength through the spine. I often think we don't pay enough attention to spine health. We often talk about something hasn't gone live on Instagram. Hang on a minute. Why is that not working? Keep going, keep rotating. That should be working okay. Let me have a look. Yes. I'll go back to what I was talking about. Spine health. So we'll often talk about strengthening the muscles, lower body work, upper body work. But actually think about where the hips sit, where the shoulders sit, all that connection through the spine. And also you've got the nervous system, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, all running through the spine. So we're doing some nice rotation here, relaxing into the shoulders. Relaxing between the shoulder blades. Bring your focus to between the shoulder blades. And breathing is just light and soft. In and out through the nose. You don't have to try to breathe in any particular way. Let's bring the arm that swings across the front into a light fist, and then we're just tapping on the pecs or the long points, top of the lungs. The lungs go all the way up there into the shoulders, so just tapping on that long point. Let's do 3 cleansing and clearing breaths here. It's often a place where you feel it's quite nice to do that cleansing and clearing breath. Remember what we mean by cleansing and clearing. It just means taking a calm, full breath in through the nose and a little bit of a pause at the top and then just letting go. And that can be just letting go through the nose or just letting go with that little bit of restriction through the mouth. And we're just lengthening the breath. You can create sound with that. Cleansing, clearing, resetting. Just need 3. Let's get into the shoulders now. So we cup the hand that swings across the front of the body and we get into those big shoulder muscles. You'll be working a lot now. You're really driving from that center, driving from the hips and the waist, driving from the ground, keeping that spine relaxed. but getting some beautiful rotation through the spine. Keep tall, 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 tall. Let's go back down to chest. And just remember, as always, this is not about forcing, so if anything feels uncomfortable, you just keep it nice and easy. It's not about working through pain, it's not about pushing too hard. And then bringing it back down, across the belly and back. And then really just slow it down. Feel that contrast now when you slow it down into water waves. The breath slows naturally, the breath settles. Scoop around the back of the body. Lovely. Keep that spine long, keep rotating. Use the spine as a central axis, a central rotational, not axis, axis. I always say axis, axis. Relax the shoulders, relax between the shoulder blades. And take a moment. Feels good. Let's do a little bit of flexion extension through the spine. The one I've been using recently is this sort of like mini full body flow. You lead with the chin and we get that ripple through the spine. Lead with the chin, long spine. I like this because if you keep the knees not locked but straight, you get that nice lengthening there through the hamstrings as well. So I'm just going to show you from the side. So lead with the chin, and then you get that, oh, nearly fell over, ripple coming up. Lead with the chin. We're really looking for that wave of the spine. Remember that the spine is made or comprises all of those individual vertebrae which all articulate on top of each other, so we can get this flexion and extension, rotation, and that lateral flexion. It's not just one big solid rod or bone down the center. It's designed to be strong yet flexible. And I think often we just tighten up too much to almost like overprotect the spine. Now, of course, if we get any pain, you stop, as I always say. But let's get that movement, that flexibility working through the spine. Just do 3 more spine waves. Lovely, and then take a moment. Letting the breath settle. Placing one hand on the crown of the head. That helps to lift you tall, keep tall. Bringing that ear to the shoulder. Remember, we're not thinking of stretching, you're just encouraging that length there through the side of the neck. And stop if anything hurts. I know I keep saying that, but just be really conscious of looking after yourself, making sure that you're not forcing anything. So ear to shoulder. Once you've got your ear to the shoulder, bring the hand to the side and then just gently pull that rib cage that way to the side, and visually, without moving the chin, so keeping that ear to the shoulder, just take your eyes, if you've got a corner of the room, just looking up into that opposite direction, the same direction you're shifting the rib cage. This one has really helped. I got a lot of tightness in my right eye, and this has really helped just get all of that fascia working in the eye sockets. Breathing. Just feeling how the rib cage moves as you're breathing. Feel that elasticity in the rib cage. Also breathing into the back of the ribs as well, not just the side of the ribs. Feel that space in the back of the ribs. If you want to take slightly fuller, slower breaths, that's absolutely fine. Just to really encourage that expansion of the rib cage, but not forcing the breath, not over breathing. Breathing softly. Few more moments. And then let's place the head back on top of the spine. That feels nice. Swapping sides, so balance, ear to shoulder. Ooh, does that feel a little bit tighter? Does it feel a little bit easier? Again, not forcing. Make sure, it's going to sound odd this, but make sure you keep that spine long even though you're doing that. I don't want you down here, so keep the spine long, ear to shoulder. Bring hand to ribs, gently pull the rib cage across. And then glance in the direction that you are shifting your rib cage up and to the side. I always keep meaning to take my glasses off when I do this because all I can see is the edges of the glasses. Breathing again. You might feel, now I can slightly feel a little bit more tightness in the hip here, so you might just explore, just notice where you might feel blockages, any stickiness. Is there anywhere where you're gripping or holding where maybe you don't need to? Can you still breathe into the side of the ribs, into the back of the ribs? And then when you're ready, slowly bring your head back on top of the spine and take a moment. This really helps with dog wags the tail. So I want you to think when we start to shift the hips side to side, remember we're not doing this, because I see this quite a bit when we think, oh, I'm doing dog wags the tail, but if I do that, all I'm doing is shifting the whole spine that way. So I'm keeping the spine straight, but shifting it that way. If I do that, I'm keeping the spine long, but shifting it that way. So what we want to get is, as you're shifting side to side, you get that ripple through the spine. And also, if you watch yourself, practice this in a mirror at some point, because you'll see, excuse me, I used to use this a lot or I'd still use this a lot when we're focusing on running technique, is where is the energy coming from in this movement? Is it coming from my head? So if you see this and I'm doing this, you can see I'm moving my head and everything is starting up here. Or I'm moving my shoulders and everything is coming from my shoulders. So I'm actually activating or focusing on these points to start the movement. I want the energy to come from here so that you're getting the drive from that center point, and everything else above there is just waving. So I'm not physically actively thinking, oh, I'm just going to move my shoulders or I'm going to move my head. It just waves on top of the pelvis. Think when we do bamboo in the wind at the end, usually, is you feel that movement, but you're not actively creating that movement. But here you're creating the drive or the movement from the center, from the ground, but everything else is flowing on top. Really get that in the mind, get that difference. Dog wags the tail. And then slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Lovely, just let the breath settle. When we do a normal, in inverted commas, Qigong flow, we are using the breath to guide the movement. What I'd like to do now with a Qigong flow is just use it a little bit more to guide the breath. And what I mean by that is we're going to do the pause at the top of the breath and the pause at the bottom of the breath, but with Buddha holds up the earth, because after we've done this, we're going to spend a little time seated doing the box breathing again. So palms facing up. Just get the movement first. You bring the palms to the chest. So palms are facing the chest. It's like you're lifting something above the head. And then we go to the top of the movement, and then you bring the earth, because it's very precious, you don't want to drop it, you bring it back down. So you bring up, just get the movement first, hold above the head, and then slowly back down. But we're going to add a little pause in the breath. We're going to add that, extend that hold or the pause at the top of the breath. So let's breathe in. Let's do it together first, and then we'll let you get into your own rhythm. Breathing in. And then hold at the top. Suspend the breath at the top. And then breathe out. And pause at the bottom. Now we're not stopping. I don't want you to go, right, I'm just going to stop everything. There's still that sort of like movement. There's still the flow going on. And then breathing in. Suspend the breath at the top. And then breathing out. So normally when we'll do a Qigong flow, your breath guides the movement. But here we're just maybe challenging the breath a little bit more. Pausing at the bottom, breathing in. Suspend. And breathing out. And I want you to imagine as you're lifting that you have got quite a heavy weight that you are lifting. So you can create that little bit more tightness and tension. through the muscles. So you can stretch the fingers a little bit there. Suspend and then breathing out. So we can create resistance without lifting a weight. You can just imagine you're really lifting something heavy, but keep breathing in and then suspend the breath. And then gently letting go of the breath, breathing out, but making sure you don't drop that weight because it's quite precious. Let's do 2 more. Breathing in. Expanding, lifting it above your head. Suspending the breath. And then it's quite a heavy weight. Be careful as you're bringing it down. Don't drop it. It's quite precious. Let that breath go. Then you can have that little lull at the bottom. Let's do 1 more. Lift. Notice what I'm doing here is I'm dropping down a little bit and then lifting up a bit. And then slowly, 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 careful, 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 careful. And then take a rest. Can you see there how we didn't have to lift a weight, but I'm not just going, I'm here, I'm there, I'm here, I'm there. You can really create some nice tension, as in good tension. Like when we do in Tiger, we create tension there, you're creating tension here, you're lifting above the head. It just gives a real purpose and intention to the movement rather than, oh, I'm just doing my morning stretches, which I know we're not doing. And I know nobody looks like that, but you often see that. Okay, let's take a seat when you're ready, just to do final few minutes of the box breathing. So you can sit on the floor, or you can sit on a chair or a table or anywhere where it's safe. I've just sat on my microphone, which is not good. Hopefully that hasn't turned it off. No, it hasn't. I think you can still hear me. That's good. Tall through the spine. So again, we've just done all that work on the spine. So the last thing we want to be doing is sitting like this. There's nothing wrong in sitting like that occasionally. We don't want to be sat rigid all day long, but just for the purposes of this practice, nice and tall through the spine. Imagine you got that little string lifting you from the crown, relaxing the shoulders. So if you're safe and supported on the surface that you're sitting, the mind goes, yeah, I'm okay. Don't have to worry about falling off anything. I'm safe, I'm secure. We can relax into the face. Again, if the face is relaxed, it sends that signal of safety to the brain. Can't be stressed if you're laughing or if you've got a relaxed face. The whole idea of the Qigong inner smile is a lovely way of just relaxing the face. So relaxing into the face and tuning into the physical sensation of the air just as it flows in and out through the nose. Just breathing naturally for the moment. And in a moment we're going to do some box breathing or square breathing. And I'm going to give you a 4-second count to breathe in, a 4-second count to suspend or hold the breath at the top of the box, a 4-second count to just let go and let that breath out, and a 4-second count to have a rest, to pause the breath at the bottom of the box. It might feel a little bit challenging to settle into, but stay with it. If it does feel too challenging, just take a rest and then come back to it. We'll do it for the next 4.5 minutes. So to lead us into the box, let's do a nice full breath in. Fill up the lungs, just pause at the top of the breath, then let that breath go. And now everything nice and soft in and out. 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, breath in, hold, out, pause, in, hold, out, pause, in, hold, out, pause, in, hold, out, pause, in, hold, out, pause. Keep that breath very light and soft. Breath in, hold, out, pause, 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 in, hold, out, pause. One more round, taking a soft, light breath in, hold, keep that spine long, letting the breath go, and just taking a little bit of stillness there at the bottom of the breath, and then letting your breath settle back to a steady rhythm. And then taking a fuller breath. It's always nice just to finish off with a fuller breath. You can do maybe a little bit of an expansion, a little bit of heart to sky, opening your eyes if you've got your eyes closed, letting that breath go, having gentle twist. You can do the twists. You can do all of the spine stuff sitting on a chair. Gentle twist. You can do your little bit of dog wags the tail. And hopefully that has set you up for the day and indeed the week ahead. Thanks as always for joining. Regulars always here supporting, so I'm really pleased with that. Thank you as always, and I will see you on Wednesday when we will do a little bit more movement with the breath. If there is anything in particular you want to work on in these sessions, in the Wednesday sessions, then always just let me know, because we We can swap the movements around, we can change focus if you want to a little bit. So do give me a shout, drop me a direct message or an email. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining. See you Wednesday. Bye.